Hello. Oh my gosh. Hi, guys. Welcome to a familiar scene. We are back in Puerto Vallarta. I'm so happy to be back home here. It was just like breathing fresh air. It was so great. I was so happy on the planes. It's so good to be back. And you are here back with me, Akeisha. I'm your host of Daily with Akeisha. This is episode 25. And it's all about the gift of showing up. If you are listening on the podcast version of everything, I did do a live, or I did do a recording, I should say. And even if you're watching on YouTube and you're like, you didn't show up live yesterday. Yes, I did. I had to record it though because our internet kept going in and out, which was definitely a lesson because the lesson is I might find myself in more locations in the future where recordings and posting them could be a thing. Also, recordings could be actually quite beneficial for me. Um, and then just scheduling them at a certain time instead of showing up a certain time. Either way, I'm showing up in the moment and I'm not editing my conversation here with you guys in any form or fashion. So maybe filming them in the moment is great and then posting them, I don't know, or just showing up live is a great thing. Like tomorrow, if you're watching this tonight, tomorrow is going to be early because we have to be out and about. So um, tomorrow I'm gonna just like get up and do it. I'm not gonna wait until we get home because I'm probably gonna be so dead tired. We're gonna go on a beautiful hike. It's called the Boca hike, and you go to Boca and you hike along the sea ridge and you walk to what's called a place called Las Animos. It's beautiful. The ocean views are just gorgeous. Maybe we'll see some humpbacks. I don't know. It just we've got people have friends in town, people have family in town, so it's just, when people get together, you got to get together. So it's never really taking time off vacation here. I feel like I am slowly building up this routine of always having an element of vacation in my life, which is great. I did see something from my cousin. She posted something about boundaries and like being an entrepreneur, being parents, where boundaries are really key. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I need to get into boundaries. Um, just to set yourself up as you can really see your consistency, but also really not not stress over having to do it one way or a traditional way in any sense. I think I've learned a lot from a lot of different people who are very highly successful in life, and they have nothing in common as far as how they set their day up. But what they have in common is their tenacity and their absolute confidence in themselves that they are going to be successful. They're going to do whatever it takes. But where it boils down to like what they do in their day and how they do it, like those 7 healthy habits of like getting up early and doing things, like there are people that I have learned from that are like, I don't do any of that, none of it. And then I've got people who are very strict in their things. So like finding which way, if any of the ways are the right way for me, or am I going to be building and learning something new? Don't know, but that's like the experience and the process, I guess. But I wanted to talk about today was this gift of showing up. Now, if you've been following my journey this year since the 1st of January 2023, I have a word. The word for 2023 is commitment. And to put myself through a practice for an entire year of showing up in this space where I get to practice just sharing what's going on in the moment, in life, with business, with relationships, with life, with where we are in the world. How is it going? In a form that is very similar to how I'd be chit-chatting if I was having like a glass of wine or a tea with you or a fizz or a coffee and just sitting and sharing what was happening in the moment. Some of them have more of themes, some of them I feel like are more like deeper contributions to you. Some of them are just showing up, and I can feel some of them are going to start coming where I'm starting to maybe talk about some topics that I've been kind of not talking about recently in fear of losing people. And then I got to a point where I was like, if no one watches these, this is pretty much a diary for myself to see how far I come in a year and to see how my commitment to showing up to these lives changes in the year. What topics do I discuss? How deep can I get in 20 minutes? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I am very happy that people do watch these. This is very good. I see the numbers and I'm like, okay, great. I'm not alone here. So if you do catch the replay of any part of it, can you let me know in the comments? I'd really appreciate just hearing from you guys. What's your takeaway? Did you resonate with the topic? And if you have anything that you'd like to hear my thoughts on. I went into this, so back to the consistency, like, and committing part. I went into this having an idea of sharing a lot of like business. And then it just became clear that it was just really meant to be about sharing what was ever in my mind, what was ever in my heart, what was ever in my body, what was I thinking about that day. And today I've been thinking about like the gift of commitment because the past week in Cancun has been extremely mentally difficult as far as a vacation can go. It wasn't what we expected. There was some not disappointments, but like I guess expectations. Like we flew so far away to see some people. Um, and we didn't get to see all of them. And when the opportunity presented itself to see them and some things got like shifted around, some like weather things, there wasn't an extension from those other parties to be like, okay, we'll meet you in the middle. And I say this because like there's certain places inside of resort towns where unless you have a visitor's pass, you can't even enter. Like they won't let you down the street. So, I mean, you can enter by the beach, but you can't enter via the road because you don't have a visitor's pass. So things like that, where we didn't have the upper hand of the area and the weather wasn't being conducive for us, there wasn't any like meet in the middle and still make the most of it. And we were like constricted on time and we were, driving for a lot. So it was just like mentally, nothing was what we thought it was going to be. I was super in my feelings. My ego was like yelling at me all week long. Um, I was in that pre-period week. So now I'm, on my period. So I'm like feeling a bit lighter and not so like drained in energy, but definitely just like it was different. And I was struggling to be like, what am I going to show up for? And I was showing up late. And not that I felt like I shared what was present. I was sharing my Cancun trip. I know I don't get to like film around and show you, but you could see, on my Instagram. Instagram, you can go check out things like that. But this is more of a conversation. And but there was a moment where I was hearing all my teachers tell me, momentum doesn't get you anywhere. Waiting for when you're going to feel excited isn't going to push you through the harder times. You have to find consistency and you have to find commitment to showing up whatever however that means to you. So that, commitment to showing up in my business comes to me in very different ways. Commitment to showing up for my life comes to me in very different ways. I have multiple points to access that. But for this specifically, I'm really just appreciative of the commitment I've made to show up to YouTube every day to share with you all what's happening, regardless if I think it's beneficial or not. I'm practicing the skill of coming and sharing openly. And I got through a point this week, I think, where if I didn't have the commitment, my momentum wasn't there and I would have skipped things. And I can like feel the teaching kind of come up inside of me where that's like one great step forward for me because I don't know if you guys have ever, experienced this before in your own life and your own goals. Um, but I'll relate it to my goal that I had for for my Arbonne business this month. And that goal was to get and to sign a business partner, a business builder, we call them. Someone, an IC, right? Another version of me under my team. And I wanted to make, and I still want to because the month's not over, 3 sales. I wanted to get 3 people on one of our mini programs at least and see some results, help someone get something that they've been looking for. Whatever it is, I want to help 3 people and I want to add a business builder to my team. So I've been showing up, committing to sharing, but not necessarily committing to sharing in the way that I feel is like really impactful. Needless to say, because my momentum and me like feeling the moment wasn't there. And I am 100% believer that your energy and how you show up in that energy determines so much about what happens in the future. And so I'm not going to say, because I wasn't feeling into it, not a great time to film a video, but there are ways to still build that consistency and be in the energy of who you're going to become and pulling them into your now. So you're speaking from that point of view into the future, into the people in the present. So there's layers to this whole commitment thing that I'm going through. And so now with this month, with the YouTube pushing through my low momentum days that I've had in the past couple of days, and just like pressing that button, pressing that record, pressing that whatever it is, go live, and just talking and sharing where I'm at. I really felt that difference between showing up because you committed to show up and you're going to pull whatever you can into that moment and share. And now that I have that like step, that rock, that pebble, that whatever you want to call it, that sticky note, on my bulletin board of like, I did it. I feel now I can go, okay, that same energy of just committing and showing up and sharing and being honest and authentic and in the moment, I can now apply that because I've experienced it and how it shifted me through whatever I was going through. I can shift through that ego and into my higher self. And I can take that energy and apply it to sharing about the business, sharing about the products, sharing about the results people are getting. I don't have the same results as other people that I feel are like game changers, like life changers, but I can't hold this opportunity from anybody else. And it's not, it's my job to share the opportunity and it's my job to share the great results that people are getting because someone can use this as a starting point. I'm also a firm believer that nothing needs to be a full lifetime commitment. So that's one thing I love about the companies because you don't have to stick to it for life. You can dabble in whatever you choose. And I think that's something that often isn't talked about. And that's part of my story is that I believe that you get things for certain reasons for a certain amount of time, and if that's a lifetime, is that 6 months, that's 9 months, that is your journey. But I love being part of the process, and if I can change something that kickstarts you, opens a door, creates an income for you, shows you something, whatever it is, and you go and run with it and flourish to the next thing, like that's all part of my the only word that's coming to my mind is like ethos, but I don't think that's the word for it. But that is part of like the essence of my values that I have when I'm helping people. But I don't always like I shy away from that when I'm talking about like business essentially. I shy away from that. But now that I'm getting used to just chatting it out and talking about it and getting through this like sticky moment of like my ego literally yelling in my ear, being like, don't show up. This is stupid. No one's watching. Who the fuck cares? Like, this isn't going to do anything for you in the long run. Like, you're just wasting your time. Like, this is what the experts say not to do, blah, 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 blah. Um, I can believe some of it. I can believe none of it. I can believe all of it. Like depending on the day, I kind of go on the spectrum there. But I got through it and I still showed up and I'm here today. I'm loving life. I love my husband so much right now. I love the bed that I'm sitting on right now. I love the apartment that I'm in. I love the community that I'm building. I love the ocean that I can see. Even though I listen to some things that would scare the shit out of you about the world and blow your mind up open if the same thing at the same time. I love life and I love that I get to live this life and I want to live it to the fullest. And so I was asking Clayton today, like, how do we just go fucking live? Like, what would it look like to just live every moment? And what would it look like if I just stopped giving a single rat's ass about anything and just did what lit me up and what was hard, but I knew doing it would get me somewhere that I truly, truly want to be. So, wherever I hold that, I hold the energy of not that. So everywhere that I'm blocking that energy, I just try and create it all and I pock and pot all that. You can look at access consciousness for the clearing statement you can say and what pock and pot is. Everywhere that I am not just being in me and being vulnerable. I was listening to Brene Brown's Vulnerability, Dare Courage, whatever her thing on Netflix is. I was finishing it. I love it. It just sparked me, hit me right in the core. To be vulnerable, to live, to love, to fail, to fall, to get back up, to be successful, to be open, to have courage, just to go for it. So, yes, the gift of momentum, the gift of showing up this past week to push me through whatever I needed to push through this week, to show up in just such gratitude for it all today. Definitely had to push through that gratitude every night. But I do see gratitude in all of it, in lessons like I was talking about yesterday. If you caught the recording, just understanding that you really do create everything and you attract it all. And so you really have to take responsibility for it all. And the gift of awareness of that is just so huge. And yeah, that's all I got today. I'm going to sign off there. Thank you so much for chatting and tuning in with me. Chatting, I mean, put your stuff in the comments, but just hearing me out and listening to me and being, present for this. I hope some of it resonated with you. If it does, let me know. And again, if you've got some topics you'd like me to expand on, please put them in the comments. I'd love to expand on something that would be, current to you and important to you to hear, and maybe my perspective on something. But yes, have a magical day, have a magical night, have a magical afternoon, whenever and wherever you're listening to this. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Akeisha, and this is the Daily with Akeisha. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, bye everybody.